Since losing 7-0 to Manchester United earlier in the season, we have been avoiding co-owner and chairman Steve Parish at all costs here in our realistic Crystal Palace career mode. However, we managed to turn things around in the last episode, beating Liverpool 2-0 at Selhurst Park in a month where a 1-0 defeat against Tottenham Hotspur were the only points that we dropped. So I think it is safe to knock on Steve Parish's door once more, not only to update him on our recent results, but also to agree the final custom objectives for this season. I meant to go over this in the last episode, to be fair, but it completely slipped my mind. But we do now have all of our custom objectives set, as well as the consequences for either achieving or failing them. So we will be looking to play 2 youth players in 10 games or more this season. If we do so, we can sign a 5-star youth scout. If we fail to do that, we have to release the 2 highest rated players in our youth academy. We are looking to score 20 or more goals in all competitions with our strikers, both Jean-Philippe Mateta and Eddie Nketiah. If we manage to do that, then the board see that Mateta and Nketiah are an ideal pair up front, and they'll be the future of the club. So we'll be keeping both Mateta and Nketiah. If only Mateta scores 20 or more goals, he's going to be moving on to a bigger club. He has stated in the past that he's using Crystal Palace as a stepping stone, so we'll be selling him on and keeping Nketiah. If only Nketiah scores 20 or more goals, then we'll be replacing Mateta with a young striker, and Nketiah will have his shot at being the true number 9. If neither score 20 goals in all competitions, we'll be replacing Mateta with a first-team striker, and Eddie Nketiah will ride the bench. We're trying to finish in the best possible position in the league. If we make top 8, we get to keep both Eberechi Eze and Mark Gahey. Those top players will see the progress being made by the club. They want to stick around. We're close to European football. We finish 9th to 12th. We have to sell one or the other. European football's not exactly on the horizon, but we are moving in the right direction. We have a disappointing season and finish 13th or below. Both Eze and Gahey see we're still some distance even from top half contention, and we have to sell them both. We have unfortunately already failed our Carabao Cup objective, being knocked out by Brentford. So we're going to have to play the strongest available 11 in all Carabao Cup fixtures next season. That doesn't initially on the surface seem like a punishment, but that is going to throw up some team selection issues. And it'll be the same consequence if we fail to make the quarterfinals of the FA Cup this season. If we do manage to do that, though, we can convince Dougie Freedman, the sporting director, to change his mind on one transfer next season. So we can either convince him to keep a player that he's looking to sell, or to buy a player that he's not sold on. So it's important that we're on the same page with Steve Parish, since ultimately it will be him who decides whether we've been successful or unsuccessful this season, and it will be him that decides whether or not we keep our job here at Crystal Palace in the long term. So Parish does confirm our objectives for this season. He does also congratulate us on our 2-0 win over Liverpool last month. However, he does tell us we need to avoid making missing meetings a habit. I'm also interested to get Parish's thoughts on our objectives for today's episode. We're going to be starting out today with highlights of a trip to Molineux to take on Wolves. We will be quick simming this game against Fulham at Selhurst Park before travelling to Villa Park for our featured game of the episode. And we will round things out today with another quick sim against Newcastle, this time once more at Selhurst Park. And Steve Parish tells us he's looking for at least 7 points from today's episode. He sees Wolves and Fulham as very much winnable games, and he wants a draw against either Aston Villa or Newcastle. So it's going to be a tough task, but it's not an unreasonable ask, to be honest, especially when we look at the Premier League table and see that Wolves and Aston Villa are sitting just above us in 15th and 16th position. So we need to play professional, mistake-free football and get the job done here against Wolves at Molineux. The captain, Mark Gahey, comes back into the lineup at the centre of defence. Doucouré comes back into the midfield for this one, pairing alongside Adam Wharton. And it's going to be Ismaila Sarr and Daichi Kamada who flank Jean-Philippe Mateta up front. It was a pretty quiet game in the first half until João Gomez was sent off for this challenge on Jean-Philippe Mateta. He saw yellow earlier in the half, so a second yellow for this. Could easily have been a straight red. And from there, all we needed to do was play that professional, mistake-free football that we mentioned before the game, and we surely would be certain to come away with the victory. However, if you have been watching this channel for a while, you will know exactly what happens next. Matheus Cunha broke through on goal, fired past Dean Henderson to make it 1-0 Wolverhampton. We just love to lose against 10 men here on this channel. We tried our best to avoid doing that in the second half. Jean-Philippe Mateta testing Sam Johnston at his near post. Then doing the same again moments later after a lovely turn and shot from the edge of the box. Johnston, unfortunately, equal to both of those efforts from Mateta. Will Hughes found Daichi Kamada at the back post after a recycled corner, but his header went wide. Will Hughes himself had a shot on goal after the ball fell to him just outside the penalty area, but he couldn't quite wrap his foot around it. And it looked for a moment as if Jefferson Lerma might do what Will Hughes couldn't, but Sam Johnston again made an excellent save to keep Wolves ahead. And 1-0 is how it finished. Another occasion where we simply cannot overcome a 10-man opposition. Every time we play a team who are a man down, we seem to lose. We did press our advantage. We played some good football. We dominated Wolves after they went down to 10 men. We just could not put the ball in the back of the net. I think we were more than good for a victory in that game, but we didn't even manage to come away with a point. So our target of 7 points from the episode is now looking very much up in the air, especially since we're going to be at the mercy of the quick sim as we host Fulham at Selhurst Park. Just 2 changes for Oli Glasner's side as Roscoe Torres comes into the back line in place of Tyrick Mitchell, and Jefferson Lerma comes into the midfield to replace Cheick Doucouré. And we do go one better than we managed against Wolves, grabbing a point against Fulham. Emil Smith-Rowe scoring in the 63rd minute and Ismail Assar equalising just a minute after. That means we need to beat both Aston Villa and Newcastle to grab 7 points from today's episode. And things aren't going to get any easier here as we head into our featured game against Aston Villa, as back-to-back wins against Tottenham and Liverpool have seen them shoot all the way up to 11th place in the Premier League. So Villa in a rich vein of form, far more than can be said for us. So we are going to try and change it up here for our featured game at Villa Park. So we're going with the hybrid 4-1-2-1-2 formation. Jefferson Lerma set to centre half, so he will drop between Guehi and Chalobah, allowing Mitchell and Munoz to get forward and support Kamada, Mateta, and Ketia in the attack. And it's going to be Doucouré and William Davidson trying to control the centre of midfield in the meantime. So a tough test ahead of us to be sure, but without further ado, let's head over to Villa Park and see if we can rise to the challenge.
Enjoy the game.
So just a point from our 2 easiest fixtures of the episode. 2 games where we should probably be taking 6 points rather than just the 1. Minimum of 3. But we failed to get a win against either Wolves or Fulham. And Aston Villa looking to get off to a rapid start. Good challenge from Daniel Munoz, though, and we do manage to hook clear. It's been a problem at times this season, clearing the ball once we win possession in our final third. Really good challenge, William Davidson, to dispossess Ollie Watkins. And it already feels like Villa are going to cause us some real danger at Villa Park. Tyrick Mitchell. I think we're going to have to try and hit Villa on the counter-attack. How effectively we're going to be able to do that, though, I'm not sure. That is a robust challenge on Cheick Doucouré, but perfectly legal according to the referee. Morgan Rogers Emi Buendia. Morgan Rogers once more. Nice little step over, and he finds Ollie Watkins. Villa are going to be an absolute nightmare. I'm already regretting playing this formation. Really good challenge again. Doucouré. Mitchell. Poor pass, but it does find Eddie Nketiah. And Daniel Munoz on the far side, found by Daichi Kamada, needs to beat his man, who is Ezri Konza. No, it's Maatsen on that far side. Ball falls to Eddie Nketiah on the edge of the box. He does manage to get the shot away. And it falls to Mateta, who puts it wide. I think that's exactly the approach we need to take. Oh, he struck it so sweetly on the volley. But wide of Emi Martinez's post. I think that's exactly the approach we need to take today. Try and defend as well as possible. And then hit Aston Villa on the counter-attack. Big diagonal switch of play. But the ball falling to Mateta in the box. We couldn't convert. And that feels like it's been the story of our season so far. We've played some decent football. We've created some opportunities. Ollie Watkins clinical. 1-0 Villa. Not even 10 minutes in. We've created opportunities, we haven't taken them. Other teams simply have. Poor defending from Mark Gahey. Little tug on Ollie Watkins there. Not enough to put him off. Dean Henderson beaten. Not taken long at all for the home team to get ahead in this game. And I do kind of wish we went with a three at the back formation again. I thought the 4-4-2 diamond would be... That's a really poor challenge. Thought it would set us up nicely against Villa, but just immediately, right out of the gate, you could tell that wasn't the case. Just too many Villa attackers. Nketiah can't quite beat his man. Tyrick Mitchell can't quite steal the ball away. I thought the referee waved play on there. And Ollie Watkins gets a yellow card for his challenge. Don't think Tyrick Mitchell is going to get a yellow card for his, but it wasn't the best challenge. Jefferson Lerma wins the header. Doesn't fall to a Crystal Palace shirt, though. Doucouré can't catch Ramsey on that far side. And Munoz loses out to Maatsen. Ollie Watkins, big save from Dean Henderson at the near post. We get picked apart. Get picked apart by Villa. And we might need to change things at some point in this first half. Doucouré heads clear. McGinn going to put the ball into the box once more. Instead lays it off for Morgan Rogers. Pau Torres finds Ramsey. Daichi Kamada forces him backwards, but Onana just recycles. Oh, and Buendia beats Davidson far too easily. Good challenge from Mark Gahey this time, but ball just falls to Emi Buendia regardless. And Tyrick Mitchell eventually able to head clear. Only as far as Tyrone Mings, though. I think we're going to be living on scraps today. Like the initial chance that we did manage to create with Jean-Philippe Mateta, I think it's going to be half chances on the counter-attack pretty much and nothing more. Doucouré. Munoz gets ahead of Steve and skips past Ramsey. Manages to deliver. Again, only as far as Tyrone Mings, but Kamada does bring it down. Takes a touch, gets the shot away, gets a second shot away and puts it in the back of the net. What a finish. Daichi Kamada. 2 bites at the cherry. The first blocked by an Aston Villa defender. The second I expected to be saved by Emi Martinez. And we'll have to see the replay, potentially unsighted by an Aston Villa defender. But I was fully expecting Martinez to save that. Really good strike on the half volley, and I think maybe it's just the pace, and it does look like Martinez was unsighted slightly. And that, in combination with the power on the shot from Kamada, is enough to grab an equaliser. So, back and forth start to the game. As 20 minutes in, it is 1-1. Eddie Nketiah finds Daniel Munoz. And however the remainder of this game goes, I am at the very least pleased with our response. Decore cross a little too deep, but he does find Nketiah. Can't quite lay it off to Daichi Kamada. At the very least, however the remainder of the game goes, I am pleased with our response here. An early goal from Aston Villa, but we didn't allow it to compound. Good challenge, Tyrick Mitchell. We kept our heads. We kept plugging away. And we found the equaliser just 10 minutes later. Tyrick Mitchell can't win it back. We are just too narrow in this formation. And I mean, that's going to be the case when you're playing a 4-1-2-1-2. I thought that would be to our advantage, but it really doesn't feel like it's playing out that way. Munoz. Decore. Bit of space for Davidson. And on the far side for Tyrick Mitchell, who's forward from his left-back position. Finds Daichi Kamada, who can't get the pass away quickly enough as Mateta had taken up a good position. Just wanted the ball played into feet there, but Kamada closed down a little too quickly. Great challenge from Jefferson Lerma, though. He's spotted the run of Eddie Nketiah. Can't quite get the pass right. I think it was the right decision to try and find Nketiah, who'd taken up a good position between two Aston Villa defenders. And if the pass was a little more precise, Aston Villa would have been in trouble there. I think that's Morgan Rogers down for Aston Villa. And we will put the ball out of play, I think, let's say. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Aston Villa don't get Morgan Rogers looked at, though. Instead, they have a shot on target, but at their own goal, strangely enough. Rogers back on his feet. Matson, poor pass. Decore cuts it out. Munoz on this right-hand side once more, and again, he's already got ahead of steam. Matson, too much pace for Munoz to really test, though. Even with the head start, Matson was able to catch up. Davidson finds Kamada. Munoz once more. Nketiah in the box. Can't quite find him. Really good header from Davidson. Daichi Kamada collects. Munoz finds Mateta. There's Kamada once more. Shapes to shoot. Blocked by the outstretched foot of Amadou Onana. And we have really grown into this game. We don't need to see this again. I mean, it was a strange attempt, but not close to being a goal. And we have really grown into this game since going a goal down. I'd say we've probably been the better side since Aston Villa opened the scoring. Kamada once more to deliver. Mateta in the box, can't quite win the header. Jefferson Lerma can, but only as far as Ollie Watkins. Gahey finds Chalobah. And Jefferson Lerma. Nice little position taken up by Davidson. He finds Mitchell. An early cross, looking for Eddie Nketiah, who surely is offside, and he is. The header straight at Emi Martinez anyway. But Nketiah clearly offside. Yeah, by a full yard, maybe more. Decent enough header just outside the 6-yard box, though. And I'm in two minds as to whether we change things at half-time now. I do want a little more width. I feel like we need a little more width. And I think Matson offside. Matson has got very, very high up the pitch at multiple times in this first half. And I was tempted to go with a 4-3-3 formation in this game. Oh, that's a poor pass from Kamada. And I'm feeling like that would have been the better option. I'm in two minds as to whether we switch to that at half-time and try and exploit those flanks where Matson, again, is venturing so far forward. Gives us a little bit more width defensively as well. Especially if we can get either of our wingers to drop in and provide a bit of cover to the fullback behind them. Decore can't win it back. Neither can Munoz. Aston Villa continue to press as we approach half-time. Daichi Kamada. Tyrick Mitchell with Eddie Nketiah just ahead of him. Had to kind of loft it up towards Nketiah there, which slowed down and kind of sucked the momentum out of the attack. Munoz could have played in Mateta there. Didn't fancy the pass though. Kamada, Mitchell. Oh, can't quite find Nketiah, just trying to play the ball around the corner there. Good run from Nketiah. And well spotted from Tyrick Mitchell. Davidson. Decore. Munoz once more. Mateta this time with a decent run. Tries to nod it down to Nketiah. Again, a nice idea. Just can't quite get the execution right. Buendia tries to get the counter-attack started for Villa. We've seen a couple of ex-Everton players in the last couple of games as well. Amadou Onana today, of course, played a big role for us in Season 1 in our Everton takeover rebuild on FC24. And of course we saw Matheus Cunha, who is a player we signed from Wolves and was incredibly influential in our Europa League run in our final season at Everton. Aston Villa looking to get in one final attack before the half-time whistle. Maatsen ventures down the left-hand side once more. Morgan Rogers can't beat Chalobah, but ball falls to Maatsen again. Morgan Rogers. Decore for company dispossesses him beautifully. Daichi Kamada, just a minute of added time remaining. And if we can kickstart one final quick counter-attack with that final minute of added time, we could go into the break a goal to the good. And Nketiah, Munoz at the back post, parried away by Emi Martinez. And we did have the final opportunity of the first half. Just a half chance though, you have to say. But not a bad first half by any means, especially considering we were a goal down after just 10 minutes. And again, I'm going to have a serious think at halftime about whether or not we change things. And I think for now, we are going to continue with the 11 that we began the game with here in the second half. That could change over the course of the second half, but I was certainly buoyed by the reaction to going a goal down. And I think we had the edge over Aston Villa in that first half on the balance of play in the end. Munoz strikes from range. That's actually not a bad effort. Emi Martinez seemed to be fairly confident that was going wide. Changed his mind at the last moment. It was a decent strike from Munoz just outside the box and looked almost destined for that top corner for a minute or two. Emi Martinez scrambling away. This is dangerous. Nketiah applies the pressure, as does Mateta, does eventually force Martinez to clear away. Free header for Ollie Watkins. No idea why. Had several players in the area. And Daichi Kamada forces the throw. It will go Aston Villa's way, though. Nketiah can't quite steal it away. Davidson comes across to deal with the danger. He can't do that either. And that's such a good ball into Ollie Watkins. Big save, Dean Henderson at the near post. That is vintage Ollie Watkins. A little peeling run off the shoulder of the defender. And found so well, I think, by Morgan Rogers. Fortunately, though, the angle narrowed and Dean Henderson was well positioned. You can't give a free kick for that. I've made the tackle and he's got in my way and has basically tripped over me as a result. And this is a free kick in a dangerous area. Dean Henderson collects, though. Let's not get too hasty. We don't need to give the ball away unnecessarily there. Chalobah immediately pressured. Dean Henderson just hooks clear. Tyrick Mitchell wins the header, though. Eddie Nketiah on his way. Pau Torres beaten. And Jean-Philippe Mateta has to get into the box. Indeed he does. Wins the header. Tries to knock it on to Daniel Munoz because the opportunity to turn it towards goal was gone. Eddie Nketiah can't quite get there. And Emi Buendia comes away for Aston Villa. Back and forth game in the second half. That's such a good tackle. That's such a good tackle. Again, it's a soft free kick for Aston Villa. Such a strong tackle from Davidson. You can't blame Davidson because he's bigger and stronger than his opponent. Just ushered him off the ball. That's outrageous. Daichi Kamada could be injured here. Was it John McGinn? It's got to be at least a yellow. And it is a yellow. That's an outrageous challenge, and it looks as though Kamada might be injured. And that would be a real problem because we are, of course... That's outrageous. That is a straight red. That's two-footed, out of control, lunging off the floor. That's a straight red. And Holly Glasner agrees. Outrageous decision. And if Kamada is injured, I'm going to be furious. Because we are, of course, already without Eze. And Kamada is really one of our only creative midfielders. And Ketia win the header. Of course, we do have Ismail Assar. More of a... And that one's not a free kick. How is that in any way different from what Davidson did earlier? We do, of course, have Ismail Assar, but he's more of a winger, a forward, than a real midfielder. Kamada as a more midfielders, I would say. But it does look as though Kamada is okay to continue. Tyrick Mitchell, however, has picked up a knock. He will get a shot away from the edge of the box. I'm not sure why he took that extra touch. Because he could have let rip there with his left foot. Instead, he takes the extra touch, and all he can do is prod at it with his right. We have a couple of players well positioned for this corner, which Kamada will deliver, one of whom is William Davidson. Somebody get there. Somebody get there. Everybody running away from the ball in a Crystal Palace shirt. And Ramsey into Watkins, who thankfully can't control the ball. And Tyrick Mitchell comes away on this left-hand side now. Tyrick Mitchell has picked up a knock. He seems to pick up injuries fairly frequently. He does usually seem to run them off, though. Not sure if that's going to be the case here. He has been nursing that injury for some time. Great run, Eddie Nketiah. Munoz can't quite pick him out. What a run that was, Eddie Nketiah, though. And a good effort to find him from Daniel Munoz. And I really feel like we have grown into this game. And the 4-1-2-1-2 is working nicely at the moment. I mean, that's a decent tactical challenge from Munoz on Ollie Watkins, just hampering his progress. Doesn't stop Ramsey from continuing into the box, though, but it's a great challenge from Decore, who finds Kamada, skips away from Onana, and lays it into the path of Tyrick Mitchell, who is still nursing that injury. I think we're going to have to bring Mitchell off for Roscoe Torres next time the ball goes out of play. Kamada just about wins the header, but Buendia there for the second ball. Oh, look at that defending Davidson. Just so well positioned. Munoz can't beat his man on this occasion. Takes a tumble in the meantime as well. Ramsey plays it back to Maatsen. Into the feet of Watkins. And Chalobah pulled out of position to cover. Can't slow Jacob Ramsey down enough. Morgan Rogers to be careful of those little runs in behind from Ollie Watkins. And there is one. And there is the second goal for Aston Villa. Called it seconds before it happened. I could feel it. I could feel it. I could just see Ollie Watkins taking up those positions that he takes up so often. And he does make that run off the shoulder of the last defender. Emi Buendia it is this time who finds him. Chalobah just not alert enough. Henderson nowhere near it. And you can't blame him. Ollie Watkins very central. Henderson just kind of has to hold his position. Can't really gamble in that situation. And of course, if you don't gamble, it's just too easy for Ollie Watkins to pick a corner and put it there. Leon Bailey about to pile on the misery as well. So 2-1 Villa. We will change things up though. We are going to go with a 4-3-3 formation for the remainder of the game. Bring on a little bit of width next time the ball goes out of play. Munoz gets the shot away. Can't find the target. Needed to go across goal there, really. And here come the changes. It's going to be Mitchell, Mateta, and somebody else off. Roscoe Torres comes on at left back. Ismail Assar and Mateus Fransar come on So, going to do our best to grab a second equaliser. I think we deserve one. I think we've played better than Aston Villa on the balance of play. And how is that an Aston Villa free kick? So Eddie Nketiah, the lone striker now. No real targets to aim for in terms of, you know, crosses and long balls. 3-1. Never mind. Never mind. We had the 4-3-3 formation for about 30 seconds. For Ollie Watkins. Is that a hat-trick? That's a hat-trick, right? Pretty sure he scored the first. Yeah, he scored the first. It's an Ollie Watkins hat-trick. And it is going to be another defeat. Defeat against 10-man Wolves. Defeat against Aston Villa. Only a point against Fulham. We continue to struggle to get going here this season. Same can be said for Crystal Palace in real life. We were hoping to get off to a better start than them here in the series. It's not panned out that way so far, though. Amadou Onana off, and it's going to be Kamara on to replace him. Kamara delivers. Davidson wins the header, parried away by Martinez. Big save. Kamara to deliver once more. Again towards Davidson. Hooked clear by Aston Villa. Jefferson Lerma collects. Finds Roscoe Torres, whose pass is misplaced, but it does fortunately find Davidson, who finds Fransar in turn. There's Ismaila Sarr. Just lofts it in towards Munoz at the back post, and Martinez punches clear. No, that cannot be an Aston Villa free kick. We put them under pressure there. And the referee completely gets them out of jail free. With another really soft free kick. Intercepted well by Munoz. Fransar. Davidson. Finds Roscoe Torres. Ismaila Sarr. Tries to find Eddie Nketiah, but I have no idea what that cross was. Absolutely no clue what that cross was. Munoz beaten for pace by Ramsey. Does recover, though. Covers his position well. No support, though. Who is he supposed to release the ball to here? Fransar. Kamada. Nice little run from Nketiah. Takes it down and finishes. 10 minutes to go. We are back in the game. Beautiful goal. Absolutely beautiful goal. Fransar into Kamada. Perfectly weighted pass. And a beautiful finish from Eddie Nketiah. Just lets it drop over his shoulder. Prods it with his left foot. Past Martinez, who can do absolutely nothing about it. I was anticipating Eddie Nketiah bringing the ball down there. I think Martinez the same. And I'm not sure why I was anticipating him bringing the ball down, because I was the one that had powered up that shot. So, but 10 minutes to go. We could grab an equaliser after all. And we could do that right here through Daichi Kamada. Straight at Martinez. That was our opportunity. Seconds after grabbing the equaliser. Nope, seconds after grabbing a second goal. We could have had the equaliser. And Kamada can't finish. This is exactly what I've been talking about. We've been playing good football. We just cannot convert. We just cannot come away with points. You can't say we haven't put in a good performance. Couple of potentially less than stellar moments at the back to allow Ollie Watkins in. Could save Dean Henderson. Got to be a big throw here to find the winger, and he just... I thought he was a little closer than that. I thought we could find him just with a throw from Henderson, but it had to be a kick instead. Back post, Buendia, parried away Henderson. Davidson hooks clear in the direction of Sarr, who brings the ball down and has a head of steam. Munoz on the far side steals the ball away. It was a poor pass from Ismail Assar initially. We just have to try and loft it in towards Nketiah. Tries to win the header, but there's only so much he can do in the air. We've seen exactly the types of goals we need him to score. Headers at the back post aren't really those. Nketiah brings it down, saved by Martinez. And Ismail Assar keeps it in for some reason and can't get the shot away. Let the ball go out. We had a corner there. Aston Villa to make their final changes. Buendia off. Tielemans on. Oh, I hate throw-ins. Pointed that directly at Ismail Assar and tapped it as lightly as I possibly could. And it's just gone nowhere near him. Nowhere close to him. I'm not sure if that's a full manual thing for throw-ins or if that's just the way that throw-ins always are regardless of the... Oh, Torres can't quite win it back. 6 minutes of added time though. Can we create one final opportunity? Tielemans trying to prevent us from doing that. Puts it into the box where Ollie Watkins lies in wait. Saved by Henderson. And hooks clear. Francois needs to pull away from Ramsey. Just about manages to do so. Chalobah finds Francois once more. There's Munoz. Can't beat his man. Needs to go out of play and it doesn't. We do still have time for one final opportunity. We need the ball back pretty quick though. And we need to get it forward just as quick. Chalobah does the first part. Davidson. Beats his man. We've got to have something on. We've got to have something on. Somebody needs to make a run in behind there. Potentially I should have taken the long shot on with Davidson. It crossed my mind for a moment. I think Aston Villa are going to see this out. Ramsey plays it off to McGinn. Tielemans. It's going to be time. Even if we get the ball back, we're not going to have a chance to take it up the pitch. And there goes the referee's final whistle. Oh, brutal. Heartbreak. Heartbreak at Villa Park. Ollie Watkins gets the match ball. 3 good goals from him. Still just a little frustrated with the lack of alertness at the back. Just Ollie Watkins is on his toes. Our centre-backs are completely flat-footed. And those runs in behind, these little peeling runs off the shoulder just absolutely destroyed us. But we played good football. We put in a good performance. We've doubled the number of shots that Aston Villa had, despite having fewer passes and less possession. But it is another game where we play well and we just can't manage to convert the performance into a result. It's been the case in so many games so far this season, and you would think at some point that's got to change. If we keep playing well, if we keep creating opportunities, surely we're going to start to pick up a string of results at some point. And just to add insult to injury, well, to add injury to insult, really, I guess, Tyrick Mitchell has suffered a broken toe. He's going to be out for 3 months now as well. Just as we lose Mitchell, though, we do regain Eberechi Eze. He has returned to first team training sessions, thank God. Eze not quite fit enough to return to the first team, however, but Roscoe Torres does come in to replace the injured Tyrick Mitchell for our final game of the episode against Newcastle United. And we do manage an additional point at the very least against Newcastle. Longstaff opening the scoring in the first half. Munoz, he's popped up with a couple of goals this season. He grabs the equaliser in the second half. But that does, of course, mean we take just 2 points from the episode. Draws against Fulham and Newcastle United. Not the way I saw this month playing out. And at this point of the season, about a third of the way through our fixtures, I think we need to start really considering the fact that we're going to be in a relegation battle this season. We are currently in the relegation zone, level on points with AFC Bournemouth. Chelsea and Southampton a win ahead of us at this stage, but Chelsea do have a game in hand. Leicester and Arsenal just above them in 13th and 14th. We do, however, begin the next episode with a match against bottom of the table Ipswich Town. We'll also be taking on Brighton, Bournemouth, Southampton. So although we do face Manchester City and Arsenal next month, there's 4 very winnable games there. We will, of course, be finalising our transfer shortlist next month, as well as we head into December and then eventually January. So potentially some reinforcements around the corner who could bolster the squad and help us turn our season around. So we'll look forward to that in the next episode. I hope to see you there. Take it easy.